All right, we're gonna do a traditional no knot, like a classic style no knot nunchuck tie. No fancy stuff. All right, I'm using this regular 550 paracord. So I'm gonna make these to fit my hands, but you can adjust what you're doing to fit your own needs. So basically, I like my rope to be the same width as my hand. So we're gonna set it up to do just that. All right. So to get the length of cord we need to mess with this, I'm going to start with the hole and bring this to the end of the chuck. I'm going to plan on tying off the end and disposing of most of that later. I'm going to account for the first string. I'm going to account for the thickness of the wood. And do that here. There's the third strand. And then I'm going to bring the end of this to the end of the nunchuck. And we're going to cut that. We're not going to just cut it. We are going to grab the other end, which is already glued, and I'm going to pull the string through to take out any slack that might be between the inner cord and the outer housing. And now we're going to seal the ends. And there's a special way to do this, and I use this flat pair of pliers and just press it, and it instantly really becomes hard. And now we got this flat piece that we can pull through with a hook if we had to. And then most importantly though, I cut the tips off and create more of an arrowhead. Whoops. Uh-oh. Let's start that over. Mistakes happen. Press. Alright, so I got like this little arrowhead. And I'm going to cut the ends off on the other side. Oh yeah. Okay. Move these out of the way. So first, we're going to just poke it through the bottom. And I'm going to go in through the, out of here. I also, as I go, I make sure it's not twisted or bunched up or knotted in any way. To help get through those little curves, for one, you could take like a screwdriver or something, and on these angles, you could flatten those out to make more of a ramp. That's allowed. You can wall that out, you know, but I'm not going to do it on these because I won't need it. But curve. Just poke that through the bottom and out. All right, fairly basic. Flip it over, curve it in the top hole. Make sure it's not twisted or knotted. I'm going to curve this, poke this through. Taking out that twist. And do the bottom. Making sure that I maintain the distance that I want. I'm going to move this out of the way. Now I need to go in this hole and out the top, into this hole, out the top. Okay. So if you have some troubles, you can use like this flat nose, and you can try to poke it through with that. Just be careful not to mess up the threads or, you know, any of the outside housing. All right, we're going to pull that through, always maintaining my distance. So on this, I'm going to use this to move this cord out of the way. And there it is right there. Okay, pull them. So now now right about at this point, I'll hold this and hold this and give it a cool couple of snaps because you want it to be all stiff and tight and even. Okay, so now I have these equal lengths hanging out of the sides. The idea is we're going to go in this bottom hole. We're going to pull this out. We're going to wrap this through and stuff it into that channel. And that's going to hold it all together. I'm going to do the same on this side. Sometimes it just goes, and other times you need to use a tool. But I got plenty of a gap right there. And that just pokes right through there. Really nice. And I always maintain that these are nice and flat and there's no weird twists. Okay, so being very careful, you can pull this out. And then now I'm going to start just doing this twist. And I like to start the one, keep it nice and tight. And you want to just start doing the circles around it. Okay. Also, maintaining that you're keeping your cord flat and there's no twists and weird things going on. Alright, so far here we are. That's all going to stuff in there later. I'm pushing it down and keeping it tight. And we do as many reps as it takes till we get there. With each wrap, I'm pulling each wrap nice and tight as I go around. And tying it in this manner is more traditional. They didn't have glue back then. You didn't have any unsightly knots in weird places that might pinch your hand or inhibit you doing finger spins and stuff. Alright, now we're about there. So, at this spot right here, I'm going to cut the end off. It feels scary, but just go ahead and go for it. This might even be too long. And I'm going to flatten it out with my thing. But this time, I'm going to leave the ends on there. And I'm going to just lay it all in there. Alright, just got to press it. I'm going to use this lighter. Alright, see how that is? And then that'll press in more, but I'm going to do the other side now. So I already went through, and now it's to the spot where I need to wrap it. You can just pick any direction that you want. Making it tight as I go. So you're basically making this twisted knot that is not going to pull out because of how long the end is and the pressure of it being jammed in the channel. over, press it on the table. That's basically it.